What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Auto. My name is Max, and today we're taking a look at this, the all-new Ford Ranger Raptor. One of the most fun cars I've driven this year. It is the new and improved Ranger Raptor developed by Ford in Australia with a lot of off-road hardware. It looks the business. I mean, yeah, the inner hillbilly has been woken up by this car because I think it is one of the coolest things you can buy in the Netherlands right now because of a couple of reasons we're going to cover today. So we are here on a beautiful Sunday morning. There's a motocross area right here, so we should be able to have some fun. We're not going to do any crazy off-roading, but just some light, like sand stuff. And I'll talk to you about road performance as well. But the new and improved Ranger Raptor, design-wise at the front, we have this new Ford grille, massive grille with these C-clamp headlights, like the Big Brother F-150. And it looks the business. It looks like a proper Baja truck. We've got a separated bumper here. So the lower part here, the bumper, is separated from the body. So if you hit something or whatever, you don't immediately destroy the body. We've got some fog lights here, a protection plate, which is not that thick, but at least you've got something here, which is very nice. 2 tow hooks as well. And then we've got these gorgeous 17-inch wheels with around that BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2 tires. In Australia you can get these with bead lock wheels, so the tire is locked to the wheel so it doesn't come off during serious off-roading. We really don't need that, so we've got the regular 17-inch wheels. And then behind that we've got the most serious tech you get on this car. This car has 2.5-inch live valve internal bypass Fox shocks, and these things are incredible. It is the party piece of the car. It transforms the way you drive a car because let me see if I can show you something. Apart from the fact that they are massive, they absorb everything in a way that I have never felt before. Yeah, maybe with the previous Raptor, which also had those Fox shocks, but this I feel like is next level. The way you can just take speed bumps at highway speeds, don't ask how I know that. You can take shortcuts, you can basically go over roundabouts. It is absolutely incredible. It's so much fun, this car. Compared to a regular Ranger, it is 100 mils wider than that, so it definitely has like a more beefy look. We've got big mirrors here with a camera right there and an LED light, so you can actually basically have like floodlights around the car, so when you're on a camping ground or on a, you know, working or whatever, you can hit those lights. We've got metal-y side steps there, a lot of ground clearance. And then at the rear we've got a loading area, which is not that big, but practical enough. I would say you can fit like 2 bikes in here. If you would have this down, you can fit 2 motorcycles here. We've got a 12 and 220 volt socket in there as well. It has a nice coating, and then this car has the optional electric cover, which is quite nice, but we're going to keep that open. And well, it is just a very, very practical car. I love a practical car. I love a practical fast car, and well, it doesn't get more practical than this basically. Yeah, well, the big ones, but the big ones are just like an F-150 or Dodge Ram. They are just too big for the Netherlands. This is the perfect size. It's big, but you're never hampered by the size, which is the case with an F-150 on these rural roads, or, you know, parking it's just way too big. This is perfect. So we've got a tow hook as well. You can tow up to 2,500 kilos with this car. It also weighs 2,500 kilos. And then we've got an exhaust with a valve, 4 different exhaust modes, from quiet to normal to sport to Baja. And well, it does sound quite nice. Nice Raptor badge there. And the Ford badge is black and not blue for the Raptor, which is a nice touch. Now, I have to talk about this. In the Netherlands, we have the ridiculous CO2 dependent tax called BPM. So that means that a car is taxed depending on the amount of CO2 it emits. This car, I think it's like 315 grams per kilometer, so it's quite a lot. And that would mean that this car, which has a price like this, as a commercial vehicle, so we don't have a rear seat, we have like this separation between the passenger cabin and the loading area, which this now is and this is, of course. So this has to be bigger than the passenger area, that's why they need to delete the rear seat. This car is like 55 or 58,000 euros in the Netherlands, which is a bargain. It really is. It's the only bargain left, I think, in the Netherlands if you want to buy a new car. So 55, 58, something like that, with options. If they would not have done this, if you want this car in the Netherlands with the rear seat, 150,000 euros it would have been. 100, that is just totally ridiculous. So I love the fact that Ford in the Netherlands have brought it here with this. So you can have, you know, if you're a landscaper or a contractor or whatever, a tiler, a painter, I don't know. If you want a cool van for your company, this is it. I mean, it is so much cooler than a regular van. I absolutely love it. So we've got Ford Performance down there. And then the interior has been upgraded quite a bit as well compared to the last one. We've got this big vertical screen here with everything you need. So it's got Apple CarPlay, but you also have all your settings in here and your camera, stuff like that, which actually has a great resolution. This is the lighting thing I was talking about, so you can turn those on. Your off-road stuff. And this is where it gets interesting. So this is a proper off-roader. It's probably the most capable off-roader you can buy in the Netherlands as new. It is truly amazing. So as you can see, we've got switchable four-wheel drive here. So this is two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive automatic, 4 high, 4 low. We've got driving modes by turning that knob, which goes from normal to sport, slippery, mud, sand, Baja and rock crawl. So basically all the off-road stuff you need. We're going for Baja mode, of course. And then we've got, if you hit this button, you get to the Raptor menu basically, and then you see the locking rear and front differentials. It's got a off-road cruise control basically. It has a lot of stuff. It is a super capable car, and a 10-speed automatic gearbox. So it's very, very capable. The only thing that has really kept me from buying this car on the spot, I'm not kidding, I was honestly considering buying this car, but there are a few drawbacks to it. But the main thing that kind of decided it for me is that these seats, even though they look quite cool with a Raptor badge and stuff, but they are not great. They are very flat and thin and hard. Well, they're not that thin even, but they're just not comfortable. You don't have any support. I can feel my back strained already after driving it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that is not a great thing, because if I would buy this car, I would drive it quite a lot. And seats are very, very important. So yeah, that is a shame. It's I feel like it's worse than with the previous Raptor. But anyway, we've got some storage in there and in there as well, which is quite nice. Trim is good. I like it. It is soft. Quality feels good. Everything feels sturdy. We've got a wireless charger down there as well. Yeah, it's a very complete car. It's got everything you need basically. Traction control off. And it's time to have fun. There are some mountain bikers and stuff out there, so we have to be a bit careful sometimes, but this should be a nice spot to have some fun with the Raptor. And I'm not joking when I say that this is probably the most capable off-roader you can buy new, because if you take one look at those tires, you already know that this is a very capable off-roader. But then you add those front and rear locking differentials, a transfer case, and you have a very serious machine. it sounds good as well. So we've got some holes here, which is, doesn't really care about that. Don't really feel that. But I did forget to show you guys the engine, so we're going to do that in a minute as well. But it's got the 3-liter EcoBoost twin turbo V6 instead of the 2-liter diesel it used to have. The only problem is that, you know, this car was developed in Australia, and over there it's got like 400 horsepower and we only get 290, which is a shame. Oh my god, this car is amazing! Oh, the speed you can get, the speed you can reach with this thing off-road is just phenomenal. And this is a 2-wheel drive mode. I mean, it's quite a thing, this. It is quite a thing. Oh, absolutely love it. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the engine, because they took this thing off-roading, properly off-roading. And you can see that because it's super dirty. But that is the 3-liter V6 EcoBoost with 290 horsepower, 490 Newton meters of torque, if I'm not mistaken. And then in Australia and probably the US, it's the first time the Raptor will be available in the US. You also get that like 400 horsepower and like close to 600 Newton meters of torque. So that is very nice. But I mean, if you tune this one, I mean, if you have like an ECU remap on this car, you would get 450 horsepower easily. So I think that is something worth looking at if you buy this car, because even though it's not a slow car, it can definitely do with some more power. Oh, that is so good, and it's so solid. You don't get any thumps through the drivetrain. I mean, those shock absorbers are just incredible. They really are. So it seems like I still have a bit of traction control. The light is still flashing. Oh, but that is so lovely. So these shock absorbers, they are live because they basically adjust and react to what is happening. And that means that they can like really do everything. They can take big hits, so like jumps, but they can also do like the shorter stuff. So we were also invited by Ford to come and experience this car on like an off-road experience island thing, and that is where you can really test this car's capabilities, of course, and it was super impressive. You can actually see that when it jumps, how quickly it like settles down. It's like it absorbs the bump and then immediately it's level again. It's so incredible. Sliding it around. Oh, that is lovely. Okay, so let's switch to 4-wheel drive automatic. 4-wheel drive. Oh, that is that is way more traction than you should be able to have on a loose surface like this. That is amazing. Wow, wow, wow. What a car. What a car Ford has built. This thing is... And so while we're at the tarmac road again, talk a bit about that as well, because I feel like, you know, driving off-road like that or on like these rural farm road stuff, stuff like that. The suspension is the most impressive thing about the car, of course. It's like driving a GT3 RS on a track, but then in a different way. It's very satisfying, and the feel of it is just something really special. As I said, it's probably the best off-roader you can buy right now without any modifications. But also, I feel like on-road, it's not a bad car. It's quite an impressive thing, considering you have the stuff you have, you know, considering you have these tires. It's made for off-roading, and still you can drive it on-road pretty well. Okay, so let's change the driving mode to sport. It's relatively quiet on the highway, I would say. Yes, you do have some tire noise, but it's nothing too bad. And so it's just a really good car all round, I would say. It really is. But it shines, of course, when you can do off-road stuff. But it's just a lot of fun. It's just a fun car, and I feel like it's fun for the sake of having a fun car, which is just amazing. You don't see it that often anymore. And driving it on-road, I also find myself putting the suspension in the off-road setting, with of course the exhaust in the loudest one as well, because it just absorbs everything so well. It does mean that sometimes, you know, especially when it's wet on the tarmac, it has little to no grip, so that rear is constantly trying to keep up with the front, and you're sliding on roundabouts and stuff like that. But the way this suspension just absorbs everything is incredible, and it just makes road driving a lot of fun as well, because the car is leaning and absorbing everything, and you know, you're correcting a lot, and I don't know, it just makes it feel like something is happening, which is quite fun. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video on the right or this playlist on the left. See you at the next one. Bye.